Hey, Karli, what is happening, my friend?
What's happening? Derek, don't you know?
Mm, I might, but let's not ruin the moment. I have a feeling you can't wait to tell me.
What's happening is the AP Coordinator Back to School Workshop, our annual can't miss event of the year. It's time to engage with fellow AP coordinators in these free interactive Zoom sessions. Registration is now open. Sign up for your preferred date and time.
The workshop is perfect for all AP coordinators, new and experienced. And interactive is the key word, not a recording, not a video. Our team of colleagues is live, ready to help, and ready to answer questions on the fly.
Bring it on. We'll be ready. And we love to hear from you. Register now. Link in the show notes. We can't wait to see you there.
Coordinated, episode 285, Spotlight, Anya in Illinois. Greetings, AP coordinators. Derek Cometa here, Senior Director, AP Coordinator Experience for the AP program and former AP Coordinator. Today, we are shining the spotlight on the state of Illinois, specifically on Evanston Township High School. And it's Monday, July 21st, 2025. And without further delay, here is our own Karli Suge visiting with AP Coordinator Anya Pierce. Two outstanding AP coordinators at the same time? Let's do it. Let's go. It's time to get coordinated.
Good morning, Anya. It is so nice to have you back on the podcast. It's so fun to see a familiar face, or should I say, hear a familiar voice. Thank you for joining me today.
Good morning, Karli. I'm really happy to be back.
Yes, so some of our longtime listeners might remember that Anya has been on the Coordinated podcast before to discuss her AP Pre-Calculus administration in 2024. It was the biggest administration given in the world at that time, over 400 exams. And the episode was a really great intro into her journey with AP Pre-Calculus and all the work that went into it. If you'd like to go back and re-listen, that episode is episode 228, AP Pre-Calculus. It all adds up. But today we are bringing Anya back to the podcast to finish up our AP Coordinator Spotlight road trip this summer to get a glimpse into our fellow AP coordinators' expertise across the U.S. So, Anya, could you please reintroduce yourself to our coordinated listeners?
Sure. So I am Anya Pierce, as you mentioned. I live in Evanston, Illinois, and I work at Evanston Township High School. My title is Testing Coordinator. I've been here starting my 11th year coming up here, and I've been in education about 16 years. So
Wow.
The majority of it's been here.
Yes. And I remember from our previous conversation that you weren't always set on being in education, but you knew you wanted to work with kids. Is that right? What drew you to supporting students?
Yeah, you're right. I started out in my undergrad. I walked away with a degree in social work and psychology. So I knew I wanted to work with people, and I knew I wanted to somehow help people and positively impact them. But I kind of felt like I could do everything and nothing at all with those degrees. So I just didn't really know where to start. So I just started somewhere. I had grown up in Iowa City, and then I went to the University of Iowa in Iowa City. So I just thought, I got to get out of here. I got to try something new, but I don't really know how and when and what. So my then boyfriend, now husband, he and I moved to the Chicagoland area when he got a teaching job, actually. And I just decided I got to try something completely different, out of my norm, out of my comfort. So I got my first social work job on the west side of Chicago in the Austin neighborhood, which was definitely a change of pace, definitely with students who, really were vulnerable, really needed the support. didn't really want to be there. And so that was a challenge. And I just jumped right in. I did counseling with students that led me to another job as a foster care case manager. So I worked with families all over the south side of Chicago and south suburbs. Again, just incredible experience, but so challenging, so emotionally taxing. I just was really naive and I was learning a lot on the job, but it left me realizing I have so much respect for that field and for people who are really committed to the hard work. And it also brought me to my next step, which was I had been collaborating with various school counselors in that role when I would support my students. And I thought, I'd go to IEP meetings or I'd connect with them. And I thought, okay, that's interesting. Maybe that's something where I could impact more students on a bigger level. And with, just the next step for me. So found myself in grad school downtown Chicago at Loyola and got my master's in school counseling. So that's where I started, school counseling in Chicago for a handful of years. And through a series of events, I transitioned to this role as a test coordinator. I truly thought it was going to be my foot in the door to, get to know the building, get to know the people. And then, okay, I'm going to transition to the counseling department next time something opens up. I found that year after year, here and there a position would open up and I just thought, I don't feel the push. I don't feel the push to go. I really loved this test coordinating. And so, here I am about to start my 11th year, no desire to leave it. I'm loving it. It just is such a blessing that I just didn't expect to still be here. And it's exciting to be able to continuously find things I love about it, new challenges. It's never short of change.
That's true.
So, that's the evolution of just kind of finding myself here. And for now, this is it. This is what I feel like I'm meant to do, so we'll not worried about what's next if there's something next. So, yeah.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that, Anya. I think a lot of times this is an AP coordinator podcast, and a lot of times we interview people who maybe didn't apply to be the job of the AP coordinator. But there are a lot of people out there who do and who do enjoy it in the same ways that you do. Yeah. And we need all of you people, all of those people who want to do it just as much as we do, who are gifted the opportunity as well. So, Anya, I know you mentioned you are the testing coordinator at your school site. So I know that involves way more than AP. So what does that look like at your school besides just being the AP coordinator?
Yeah. Well, so Evanston Township High School it's the only high school in Evanston. So it's pretty big. It's about 3,700 students. So there's no shortage of standardized tests at a high school that size. So we continue to do, the PSAT and MSQT in the fall. But just as of last year, the state of Illinois has transitioned to the ACT as our school day exam in the springs. So I had to pivot and learn all new things last year to support our, all of our freshmen, all of our sophomores took the pre-ACT secure, and our juniors took the ACT. So that was a lot of new. There's always just new learning, what next exam, the state wants to administer. So I do that. And, another big thing is we do our placement testing. We do the NWEA MAP test for placement. And so all year long on a rolling basis, we have transfer students coming in. So I'm always working with students. And I love that because I'm the first point of contact with each of those kids who are coming in the building for the first time. And so I really love that I can kind of hopefully set the tone for them and make those connections. So it's, and then there's the tests that change every year, the state just decides, hey, we're going to do this one now. And you're just like, okay, we'll figure it out. I actually coordinate all of the accommodations for all of our students in the building. Wow. So there's about 250 students per grade level who end up having accommodations. So I do have to request their accommodations one at a time for ACT as well as College Board, and then make sure that I'm connecting with their case managers and teachers and making sure that everything in those schools, the IEP and the 504 plan is getting communicated, and I'm advocating for the students. So that's a huge chunk.
Yeah, that sounds like a full-time job on its own.
At some schools it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's really rewarding too, because those families and students, I feel like I can really use my counseling skills every single day. So that feels good to help lower the stress for them, lower that anxiety that can come with standardized testing, especially if you have accommodations.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow, that is a lot that you have going on at Evanston Township. Well, speaking of your testing role, what was the biggest surprise after you took on this role? Maybe besides the fact that you loved it more than you thought you would. What was the biggest surprise for you?
Yeah, I mean, well, that really was it. The main one is just, but truly that there's so much room for growth and evolving within this field, and that it's really what I make, what I make it. I take it very seriously that I get to collaborate with. We have I think around 500 staff members in this building, and in some way or another, I'm working with basically all of them. And those connections are just so valuable. And getting to work with students and parents. And so it's, there are some days where it does feel a little lonely. You're in your office and it's administrative and it's paperwork, but there are so many opportunities to go above and beyond and find ways to connect and just bring the humanity to something that doesn't always feel like it has it built in. And so, those connections just mean everything. You can just feel it and see it when you've supported someone and they just breathe a little deeper or they sigh, and that feels amazing. So yeah.
Well, thank you for pointing out that perspective about the connections with staff members at school. A lot of us are the only testing coordinator in our building, in our school, in our districts sometimes.
Yeah.
So it is really nice to really think about the people that you do have connection with and that you can support students by working together. I think that's a really important perspective. So thanks for sharing that.
Sure.
So I know you have a big AP program, and I'm curious what you think the biggest challenge is for you as an AP coordinator.
Yeah. So I think as I love the AP registration and ordering page, but I will say the one main thing for us at a school this size is it can be a challenge to get that last group of kids to join their AP classroom. And no matter how many times, week after week, I'm emailing the teachers and I'm saying, trying to track down these kids and come on, join. Because the last thing I want is for a kid to show up on test day and we don't have a test for them. So just that piece where the student is, for whatever reason, they're procrastinating or they're nervous or whatever. It's like, oh, come on. But that, and I think just the general communication around just making sure that as AP, or college board policies evolve and change, and our school policies related to testing evolve and change. And this year we're, changing our financial policy, or you can have a partial refund, and communicating that to all students and families and making sure we're all on the same page as things evolve. Or even, with teachers. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make a teacher read an email. So, I mean, it's like, we told you all of these changes, but they're like, I got this. I knew, from whatever we told them 5 years ago, and they're out there giving bad info to the students. And so just getting everybody on the same page about just that really basic stuff to make sure that they're successful in the process of planning for their test. But, we find ways to work around all that.
Yeah. I'm laughing, obviously, because I can guarantee there are several listeners that completely 10,000% relate with you, including myself. It's no matter what we do, there's always those couple, right?
Yep.
But yes,
it happens.
Absolutely. And we do what we can. We do what we can.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for sharing about your high school and your AP program. I do know that for most of our listeners, they are on summer. We are on summer collectively, hopefully.
Yeah.
So I want to shift a little bit to what I call some fun questions, some summer fun questions.
Okay.
So, Anya, what is your favorite non-school or work-related activity?
Yeah. Well, this is not entirely unique, But my family, I got to be with I got 3 kids, and summertime is just so special, especially. So anything I'm doing with them, and we're really big on not overscheduling them and trying to have lots of downtime and enjoying that. And my husband's a teacher, so we have similar, schedules. So anything I'm doing with them is the best. But I do love a walk and talk with like a girlfriend. That's probably my main like de-stressor. My dog or a girlfriend.
Yeah.
I'll take either.
Walking buddies.
Yeah. Just anything just to de-stress, relax.
Yes.
Yeah,
You're
nothing
using those
strenuous.
mindfulness coping skills, Anya, in your summer.
Absolutely. I got to do it.
And so my next question, now this is your second time on the podcast, so I'm sure you're aware of podcasts in the world. Do you listen to podcasts outside of course you listen to Coordinated, but do you listen to podcasts? And if yes, what is your favorite?
Yeah. By far, my favorite is Conan O'Brien. He's a friend. I don't miss one. I could listen to him talk about anything. So, and life is so serious and heavy I listen to heavy books and, all that too, but I have to just check out and giggle. Like the more ridiculous and silly, the better. So he's good for that.
I love that answer.
Yeah.
I love that answer. It does bring some lightness to be laughing when you're listening to a podcast.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Okay. And so my last question that I have for you for the podcast today.
Okay. I'm ready.
Before I release you back to your summer, Anya. What occupation or job other than your current one do you think you would be good at or you wish you were doing?
Well, I don't wish I was doing, but I think I might have missed my calling to be a woodworker. And so hear me out, which I know you did not expect me to say that. But I've always, maybe especially since COVID and quarantining, I got more and more into crafting, and I'm always knitting and macrameing and doing, hopefully doing craft that someone's not going to just toss in the garbage. And I slowly evolved into collecting power tools and just taking on more and more projects in my house that I had no business doing. And my husband is so patient and supportive. And I've built like built-in walls of bookshelves. And I'm starting to just my whole house is just me just building things and nailing things. And so I love the idea that I could build something functional and useful and kind of beautiful. So I feel like I'm never going to charge anyone for it, but I might continue it as a hobby. I definitely do not stand by the quality. Just in case, I will not do it in someone else's house.
I was going to say, let me know the next time you're in Southern California.
But so far, so good in my house. Nothing terrible's happened yet. So, yeah.
That's a good sign.
So anytime I can be using as many power tools and make a huge mess, I love it. So, yeah, that's becoming my new happy place.
Thank you. I love that. And let me know when you open your Etsy page.
Okay, I will. Promise.
Okay, Anya, thank you so much for being here today and for spending a little bit of your summer with us. I hope you have a great rest of your summer. And thank you again for being here on Coordinated.
This was so nice, and I hope you enjoy your summer.
Thank you. AP Coordinators, thanks again for joining us. And be sure to join us next week. For the first time, we're going to talk in depth about an all-new AP course. That's right. It's time to talk about AP Business Principles, Personal Finance. Don't miss it. We'll talk with you then. And for all our support of AP students, yep, our support. AP Coordinators, we are truly good as gold.
And maybe I just don't know. I'll say it over and over and over again till I believe it's so. I'm good as gold.